And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. We got Mark Haye back in studio with us, Capital, Tax, and Wealth, and we're going to talk real estate and cash value, investment side of things here with Mark coming up. Also, southern cities dominate rankings for best job markets, that is, for college grads. So that's a cool story. And some real estate news, 5 key trends you need to know, what's happening now and going forward, what we see as a local real estate economist of choice. We want to help you buying, selling, investing, refinancing here in Tampa Bay. Also, Eric Schmidt, he's a former CEO, tech CEO, booed off the stage at a recent graduation. Find out what his topic that upset the crowd was. And here's a hint. It has something to do with data centers, which they want in Florida. Mark, I'm totally against these data centers, man. I don't want them. It's kind of one of those not in my backyard things, you know?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
A lot of resources, sound, noise, vibrate. I mean, it's a lot there, but so anyways, yeah, AI is the trend. And what are you hearing about AI? You got people talking. I mean, you hear it all over the place, right?
I mean, obviously we know he was getting booed because of AI. You know, he's talking about AI.
Yeah.
Instead of getting mad at AI, you're not going to stop it. It's not stopping.
Yeah, it's big.
So you better start learning what it is. How can you make money? How can I implement it into business?
Yep.
Because you can't just say, no, I'm not going to learn about it. I just like AI.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah.
And it's only getting faster.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. It's using real estate, you know, with short-term Airbnbs. I just take from my personal experience, AI's helped my life so much better because, you know, you make a listing, AI can do it.
Yeah.
You probably use it for your listings.
Yeah, you can do it for valuations to a certain extent.
You remember how much time you used to spend trying to write up a listing?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and like a description, everything. Like you spend so much time. Make sure it's right. Now you just give what AI and they spit it out. You know, and then it's automated as far as Airbnb and everything that, and I just get notified. This person's gonna be here this date. I don't have to go actively do anything anymore.
They're creating so many apps. I mean, and that would be the whole full app you could have where it triggers your house cleaning mechanism, like your doorbells, change the codes to the door. Like AI, it can do all of that for you. You know, so then what is the downside? Okay, well, there's some of that. You get the data center conversations going back to that, the infrastructure needed behind it. Hey, what about putting them up where it's a cool temperature, very cold temp, Alaska somewhere up, that way. And then you think about, the applications and where it's going to be relevant. Research jobs, I could see that. People aren't going to be doing as much research. You're going to need less people to accumulate all that data and succinct it into, hey, here's CEO, here's Mr. VP, here's the report you asked for. Here's the data that you need to know to determine where we're going to move to. But, so that's an interesting topic. We'll dive into that later. Give us a little teaser of what we're going to talk about on the finance side of things.
Yeah, so I'm going to just talk about if all you did was 2 things, real estate and cash value, and how that can propel your portfolio. And I'm going to give a real-life example of kind of, what one person would want to do and then was afraid of doing because of the ignorance of the strategy.
Yeah, and then you'll touch a little bit on real estate as well. You got Tampa Bay home prices falling slightly. It's not doom and gloom like some of the news outlets will make it sound. The market shifted dramatically, though, in the favor of buyers. So buyers are able to get concessions. They're able to get discounts off of the pricing, and then you're also getting repairs that you may not have gotten 4 or 5 years ago. Condos and townhomes definitely been hit harder than single-family homes. So that's, one of our top tips when you think about, HOAs, townhomes, that deferred maintenance, a lot of those issues there. So inventory's rising. You do have some insurance costs. I'm getting mixed. That's where you get information too, because on one story you'll read skyrocketing insurance costs. Tampa area residents have some of the highest insurance premiums in the country. But then DeSantis came out a few weeks back and talked about how Citizens, is offering a statewide discount or reduction in premiums of like 8.9%, something like that. So you get mixed news depending on where you look, right? So hurricane season is back, of course, so we're hopefully going to continue that trend of lighter years like we've had recently. But the Tampa Bay housing market, I think it's, when you look at these stories like New York, what's going on up there, remember the big deal, right? So Mandami taps on the glass, it's tax day, and he starts talking BS about these billionaires who he did it right out in front of the gentleman's
and
home.
He left.
What's his name again? The Mandani and versus the billionaire in New York.
I forget the guy's name right off the top of my head.
I've got the story right here.
But
yes.
he did leave, and he's out. You know,
Ken Griffin, CEO of Citadel, he was once all in on New York, 2,500 plus jobs. Yeah, and basically now it's like, hey, that whole film cost him cost the city $237 million, and essentially 21,000 jobs. $6 billion effect of that video, saying, hey, we're coming after the billionaires. The CEO Citadel was once all in. He has 2,500 employees. Mandami filmed himself. Of course, we talked about that. The video was just kind of, Ken said he watched it. This billionaire said it's creepy. It creeped him out. And now his message is like, hey, now we're going to double down. His partners agree. We're going to move to Miami. We're going to double down. So now you're talking about Citadel shifting jobs to Miami, and the $6 billion Citadel Tower in New York City is now in jeopardy. 6,000 construction jobs, 15,000 permanent roles might be lost due to that one video. So it's not just the construction short term. You got the long term people involved as well in operations.
It's sad. A couple of years ago, AOC did the same thing with Amazon.
Oh yeah.
She cost the city, I want to say like $30 billion over a 10 or 15 year period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Bezos like, we're out of here, man. Like whatever, we'll just go somewhere else. And she didn't want to give tax breaks to Amazon to build.
Right.
So I get maybe you don't want to give a tax break, but the billions of dollars of revenue per year is going to make up for it, plus all the jobs. And then they're paying taxes. I mean, you're really stepping over a dollar to make a penny at that point, So you're not going to sustain it. But Florida is getting billions and billions of new dollars, new jobs, coming in from California, New York, Jersey. So we thank you.
Yeah.
Because we're thriving down here for the third year in a row. We're number one state in the country again.
Yep.
Financially, we're a positive cash flow with zero state income tax, and hopefully this fall we don't have any property taxes.
Property taxes is huge.
It's going to be such a massive. If that happens, I just think that we're going to see real estate double again, like it did to COVID.
It could. It very well could, because here's the naysayers. A lot of the naysayers want to go straight to the negative side of this. So property taxes, where are we at? A lot of people ask me, hey, what's the update here? So let's rewind. 2019, Florida cities and counties collected $30 billion in property taxes. They now collect $60 billion. Okay, in 7 years it doubled. In 2031, they're estimating it to be about $84 billion, another 40% increase. If nothing happens, if you just let the politicians continue to feed their NGOs and DEI programs and $7.5 million sidewalks, for the 1 mile sidewalk. Now, what is also interesting is now we got to go to a special session. So when you think about, you've got 2 houses there, 2 chambers, you've got a 60% threshold to get it through, right? So we want to have one clear bill that says, do you want to eliminate property taxes on primary residences? And I think that the overwhelming, over 60% is what we're looking for, Mark. Do you think we'll have over 60% if it gets to the vote, if it gets to the ballot?
I do think it's going to pass.
I think it will.
But I don't think it's going to be, okay, you don't pay any more property taxes anymore in Homestead. I do think, let's use Mar-a-Lago, okay? Donald Trump's homestead is Mar-a-Lago. Right? Mm-hmm. How much do you think he pays in property taxes? Millions and millions of dollars a year.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Plus, if it was an over/under on $1 million, I would say it's right at $1 million.
Yeah. So let's just use Donald Trump. I don't think that they're just going to forgive everybody's property taxes. They're probably going to have an income threshold. If you make so much money, you're going to get this percent off. If you're over this, $1 million a year of income, you still got to pay property taxes, etc. I think there's going to be something like that. I do think it's going to pass, but I don't think it's going to be just a stroke of a pen and nobody pays property taxes anymore on their homestead.
But here's the question. I think this is where a lot of people are misconstrued. Residential properties we're talking about, not all of them, because some of them are Airbnb short-term rentals, right? We're talking about, here's where the numbers come in. And the property tax, okay, so out of all property tax money collected, only around 30% comes from homesteaded homes, primary residences, a.k.a. homesteaded homes, primary residences, right? The homes you actually live in. The other 70% comes from second home, Airbnbs, rental properties, office buildings, businesses, industrial, any other type of asset. Now, the property taxes only make up about 30% of municipalities' total budgets. That means 21% of the total budget gets funded from property taxes on commercial properties. 9% of the total budget gets funded from property taxes on homesteaded homes. So we're only talking about 9% here. Replacing roughly 9% the local average government. It's 9%. So that's where I think we have the chance. But if we had to roll it back and do something, as you mentioned, like, hey, let's exclude the $5 billion up homes or $5 million and up homes, then that might make sense, because we've got to protect seniors. We've got to protect our veterans. We've got to protect our police, our fire, the citizens that make up the overwhelming majority of the tax base, and the people that have earned it. They've been here. They've earned it. Now, these new transplants from New York, New Jersey, California, they don't get that. Okay? Can't just come here and then have a zero property tax. They got to be vetted maybe for 5 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can do the same vesting schedule for you get a new job, a 401k. You got to be 5 years invested or 2 years before you can even contribute or you can even get the benefits. So kind of the same way. I kind of like that idea. Can't just come here and get 0% property tax. You got to pay in a little bit, and then it could be, 80% the next year, 60% the next year, and then 5 years from now you're back to zero. That's an excellent idea. Yeah. But DOGE found more than 10% of waste in our budget, in Florida.
Oh yeah,
so you could
over
eliminate.
$2 billion.
Yeah, you could eliminate the homestead property tax right now, get rid of the fraud, and we're right back where we are. You don't really need it
with the wrong administration, right? Yeah, if you don't have the right checks in place. Let's throw this one up, Dave. The Florida DOGE. I just want to highlight a couple things, because when you think about where the money went, right? So Jacksonville. I always point to Jacksonville for the most egregious. $7.5 million for a 1 mile sidewalk. Okay, this is according to Florida DOGE, the task force, right? That's crazy. I also look at $189,000 on a city director of equity and inclusion in Gainesville. Okay, that's almost $200,000 for one city, right? Then you got Broward County, almost $1 million for DEI training since fiscal year 20, pushing the genderbread person. So a lot of it's this garbage, these ideologies that are just there. Again, and here's a clip from Mike Johnson on the day of prayer. This is really powerful.
And now, as we approach the 250th anniversary of American independence, we face a new set of challenges in a new era. In recent years, we've seen sinister ideologies sow confusion and discord among our people.
Talking about the DEI policies, the CRT, the cutting off of the female and the male body parts, and the attacking the history and the heroes. So, anyways, there's a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. Let's get rid of it. Yeah. Let's reduce taxes for seniors. Let's make America run in Florida. And Florida is the model, right?
It is the model. I mean, I hate to see DeSantis go.
Yeah.
I think he did a phenomenal job, and I hate to see him go. But under his leadership, I mean, Florida has thrived.
Yes.
As far as bringing people here, bringing businesses, no estate income tax, maybe get rid of the property tax. I mean, he's done so much.
Back to blue.
And then he's had so much obstacles and hurricanes and this and COVID. I mean, he did an excellent job navigating. No one's perfect. I mean, I'm not calling the guy perfect. But I think that he did an excellent job as a leader of the state.
Yes.
And whoever's next has really big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
I really believe that that's going to be a hard transition. And I hope we elect the right person. I don't know who it's going to be yet, but it's going to be big shoes to fill. I'll tell you that.
It will be. Yeah. And California is the opposite, right? You look at the challenges, the fraud, and then they come out and say, oh, yeah, we're starting to crack down on this. And it's, just because Nick Shirley came out there and showed you what was going on. And JD's even talking about
This is not a joke. There are people who have Lamborghinis who currently receive SNAP benefits.
Isn't that crazy?
It's wild.
In America, you literally have the deep fraud. And then you've got hardworking people that say, look, why should I pay taxes? Why do I want to be involved with this whole system that's, it just seems rigged against the average person. So it's only taken us 250 years to get this messed up, Mark.
I mean, I think the Tea Party and the whole revolution, against Britain in 1700s was a 3% tax.
Yeah.
Well, here we are today. The highest tax bracket is 37%, but that's just not even it. You got property tax, then you got tax on every time you buy something, go out to eat, go grocery shopping, cell phone bill, electric bill. Ever look at your bills?
Gas
all
tax,
the tax, gas tax, everything is taxed.
Cell phone communications.
You buy a plane ticket, you get an Uber, everything is taxed. So it's insane. So for me to think, why do we have state income tax or even property tax? We're taxed on everything. Your dollar is taxed so much
already. And then they want to pay us for a stadium here in Tampa Bay. Let me tell you about this property we got listed here at 5830 Portsmouth Drive. This one just hit the market. This was neat, man. This is an entry-level home, 1,000 square feet, 3.2, good starter home, right? 49 feet on the salt water, so you got your boat out there. You have your access to the bay. You go out there, go fishing. 5830 Portsmouth Drive, Tampa. And we've got 58401 Southeast 164th Ave in Ocklawaha. Another property, the further north you go, a little more bang for your buck. Your dollar per square foot is going to go a little further at Southeast 164th Avenue in Ocklawaha, Florida. That's a property that you can look at as well on our website, consumerqb.com. You can see all of our listings at consumerqb.com. And more with Mark Haye coming up on the flip side. Also want to tell you about this employee benefits program we've got. We'll get into that here on the flip side, consumerqb.com. And you can check us out online on our real estate side at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Only in America, dreaming in red, white, and blue.
All right, quick break, right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, Mark Haye in studio with us. And southern cities dominate the rankings of best job markets for new college graduates. We'll get into that here coming up.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Did you know that we buy houses cash? We can close quickly for a all-cash offer on your real estate properties, residential, commercial, even vacant land. We'll buy your property cash. No cleaning, no showings, and no hassles. You can even possibly stay in your home post-closing. Call Brandon at 813-917-1894. Submit the email at consumerqb.com or call 813-917-1894. consumerqb.com. We buy houses cash and fast.
Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com. All right, let me tell you about my friends at Bayview Paints Plus, top-tier window, solar panel, and gutter cleaning, Christian company with godly morals. Find them on Yelp, Facebook, and Instagram at Bayview Paints Plus, or call 813-917-1894. Window cleaning, solar panels, gutter cleaning at Bayview Paints Plus, 813-917-1894.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rimes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. And I want to tell you about our employee benefits program. This is a really cool package that we offer for employers out there. If you have a medium or larger company, we have a real benefits package that can make a real impact for the lives of your staff, your team, your sales force, education, guidance, incentives. So a real estate benefit that you can add for no cost to the employer. We partner with companies of all sizes to provide valuable real estate education, exclusive employee incentives, and trusted guidance through every step of the buying, selling, or investing process at no cost to your company. We're going to empower your employees, strengthen your company, and build brighter futures for them. Educational seminars, first-time buyer support, employee incentives, luxury upsize expertise, new construction building, as well as investment opportunities. Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. You can reach us at 813-917-1894. We'd love to help you buying, selling, investing, refinancing, and also this awesome employee benefits package, 813-917-1894. Check us out online at consumerqb.com, consumerqb.com. All right, Mark, I want to jump back into some of these topics. It's really interesting when you look at where the market's at, where these college graduates are moving to. Southern cities dominate rankings of best job markets for new college grads. So slowing labor markets are becoming a real challenge for recent college graduates. And then you also have the AI that we mentioned as well earlier, Mark. But looking to begin their careers, a new study finds that Birmingham, Alabama, and Tampa, Florida are at the top of the list of destinations for Florida graduates embarking on a new career. The ADP study, so they know a little bit about employee stats and things of that nature. So 53 of the largest metro areas were compared, and based on hiring, wages, affordability for workers in their 20s with college degrees. And Birmingham was in 85th or higher percentile for wages, affordability, and hiring, while Tampa was buoyed by topping the rankings in hiring despite middling scores for wages and affordability. So, yeah, things to do around here as well. You look at lifestyles, professional sports, getting out on the water. Great place to live, work, and play, right, Mark?
Oh, man, I think it's the best city to live in America. I mean, I'm in downtown St. Pete. I just love it. It's beautiful. Like you said, you got the water, you got sports. There's always something going on. I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. But that being said, when it comes to college, I'm kind of like Charlie Kirk believe, as far as my paradigm shifted. I do think college is more of a scam than it is beneficial. Nowadays
it used to not be so much, but they're indoctrinating. They're filling their head with these lies.
All these degrees that really don't matter. You really can't get a job with it. It's quote unquote the experience, but then you're running up $100,000 student loans that you can't pay back, and then you can't, get a house because you got this debt over here. And I don't know. And I think people need to understand, like, going into a trade, like plumber, go be a fireman, go be a cop at 18, 19 years old with no debt, making $60,000, $75,000 a year, save, buy a piece of real estate. Now you're an investor. Now you have a business. I mean, you would propel yourself so much faster by the time you're 22, 23 than someone that goes to college, gets a Bachelor of Arts, $100-some thousand in debt. Now they're living at home because they can't find a job. If you really want to go to college, go with intention. Like, I need to get a degree where I'm gonna be a doctor, I'm gonna be a lawyer, I'm gonna, but just to go, is such a waste.
They go to party, go to network, they go to study North African lesbian poetry, or the underwater basket weaving, right?
And then take an example. Like, I'm gonna take a student loan out for $100,000. Let's just say that number, right? And I'm gonna go to college, or I'm going to take a loan out for $100,000 and go buy a piece of investment property and live at home at 18. And manage that investment property. You are going to be so much further along.
Yeah, you start a business.
Start a business. Go be a plumber.
I love seeing these young hustlers. This kid, they come over, they clean the windows, they got on the roof, cleaned my solar for me. I mean, that's a very low upfront cost business. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, a year or two down the road, you got 100 accounts. You sell that account, you move on to something else or whatever.
Boat detailing.
Get out and start working.
Here. Yeah, go clean boats. People always love when people come around and say, "I'll clean your boat." How much? I don't know. How much are you gonna give me? But you could do a lot. If you just want to hustle at 18, you don't have to go to college. Like, it's just.
And the other thing is get married, get married and start a family, dude. A lot of times these people get into these careers, they're 35, 45, they can't find the right one. Now they're on these websites. You're like, I don't really need to get a woman anyways. I got these apps I can go for that. So, the whole cycle just leads to the wrong thing, especially when the institutions are teaching our history of the founders of the country were terrible men because they owned slaves. Well, everybody at the time owned slaves. By the way, who got rid of it? America, the British. We're the ones that got rid of that terrible tradition, centuries-long tradition of slavery. So they teach the wrong things too,
Yeah, no, but I agree with you. I mean, just having kids out of wedlock and not being married. I mean, we need to go back to the basics. Like, get married, then have a family. Stop having kids and then try to find something, and stop getting divorced all the time. I'm so sick and tired of everybody. Why are you getting divorced? Oh, you just fell in love. That's not how it works.
It doesn't work.
You know what I mean? Stop breaking up your family because of your feelings. I want to be happy. Like, no, man. Like, work on
out.
that.
That's right.
Work it out. So, anyways, I know we're out of time.
Change the world today.
That's absolutely.
Right. Mark Haye, check him out online. Capital Tax and Wealth online at consumerqb.com. Good stuff, Mark. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Quick break. Right back.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rimes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Consumer Quarterback Show. Logan Briggs joining us in studio. Been a little while since we've had Logan in. I think he's part-timing it these days. Logan Briggs, Gulf Shield Roofing, gulfshieldroofing.com. Longtime friend of the show. Give us a little teaser of what we're going to talk about today, Logan.
Oh, man, we got all kinds of topics. Spray foam. We got 2 weeks till hurricane season. A little bit of some supply issues. Just a little bit of everything.
Okay, let's do it, man. I love it. And then, I got a question I want to bring to the table on that traditional insulation versus the spray foam. I want to bring that one to the table.
I've got stories about them. So
there you go. I like it. All right, let's check out a couple listings and we'll jump right into it. We also got real estate news, some updates for you there as well. 10001 Waterworks Lane in Riverview. Great listing here. 2 acres of land on the waterfront. This is 2-bedroom, 2-bath. You got private gated 2 acres on a lake. It's 1,765 square foot building with a 2-car detached garage as well. Large lot. Beautiful waterway right here in Riverview, Florida. That's Hillsborough County. Great opportunity for you in Tampa Bay. 9901 Bay Drive, another beautiful listing, one of my favorites here. I love this property. It's on the waterfront there. You've got access to the Gulf, 3,500 square foot, 4-bedroom home, 135 feet of river frontage, extra space, extra views, vaulted ceilings, natural lighting as well coming through. You have a beautiful boat dock there, covered boat dock, access to the bay again. Take your boat, take your jet skis, go out there and live that Florida lifestyle to the fullest. 9901 Bay Drive, Gibsonton, Florida, just under quarter-acre lot. Great opportunity to buy real estate here in Tampa Bay. Check us out online at platinummvpteam.kw.com. You can see all of our real estate listings there, platinummvpteam.kw.com. And you can see all of our radio, TV show experts at consumerqb.com. Check us out online at consumerqb.com. The weather is sweet. All right, Logan Briggs in studio with us. Gulf Shield Roofing, man. Seems like you guys been busy, huh?
We've been so busy. I think I did the last couple calls from a roof.
Yeah, that's right.
So we've been rocking and rolling, staying very, very busy. And now that the rains are starting to come in, we're getting rains every day now. They're in the forecast. They're talking about hurricane season. The phone's ringing even more.
Yeah, finally, man. We were in a little bit of a drought there, weren't we?
Yeah, I just came actually from Hudson.
Yeah.
I guess they got hit with a little storm up there. So shout out to all the Hudson homeowners up there. If they need that free roof inspection, we'd gladly do it. A little bit of a tornado warning, a little bit of hard driving rains.
Yeah.
Did a lot of damage up there, and it was kind of like the first major storm of 2026.
Wow, interesting. Okay. Yeah. I know we got a little bit in Palm Harbor there. But yeah, man, a lot of good things to talk about. Real estate market. You're seeing some deals coming out of inspection periods, things like that, talking to realtors.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of realtors, and we help them really close the deals, especially with financing, right? Because the homeowners are going to sell their house, and the last thing they want to do is fork out $20,000 for a roof.
Yeah.
So we have some really cool financing tools that allows them to get the roof purchased, with no money out of pocket, and then they have a year to sell their home, right?
Okay.
Most good realtors, Brandon, on your team could sell a home within a year, right?
You got to price them right, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. You got a good realtor on your side, you're going to sell that home within a year.
Heck yeah.
And then at closing, they can take those proceeds and they can pay off the loan, and there's no penalties or fees associated with it. And we offer that to all of our homeowners for free.
That's great. That's awesome,
fantastic.
Man. Yeah, good way to go.
It's a no-brainer for a lot of realtors.
Good way to go.
And especially for the sellers.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about cash flow for a lot of these folks, these days, and that's why I'm really hoping we can, push to eliminate property taxes. Ronnie D, Uncle Ronnie D, come on, man. We're rooting for you.
That would be a game changer for us. I mean, for Tampa, for all my homeowners, the taxation in the United States is out of control anyways.
Yep.
So as soon as we can get that property taxes taken off, completely eliminated, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
You can feel the freedom.
Yeah, you sure
with
can.
That. So it's I pray every night that happens.
Yeah, dude, I love it. All right, so here's the question. You got these different questions that come up, and this was one I was thinking of too. Is that if you have a traditional homeowner that says, "Hey, look, electric cost. We see the data center probability for data centers coming into Florida, which I'm not for. I'm totally against those things in Florida." let's put them in Alaska or something. But with the home that's existing, you got a traditional kind of a rolled insulation there. A lot of times they'll roll it out.
A lot of blow-in in our market.
Yep. And then you have the spray foam, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if you already have insulation, the traditional style, and then you said, hey, I want to double it up. I want to put more insulation on the inside of my roofing, because they spray it right up at the top on the inside of the ceiling there, or, the attic roof. So essentially, is that a good idea, a bad idea? What do you think about that?
Well, it depends on really the kind of the engineering of the home, right? Like what that attic space looks like, how large is your attic space? I mean, do you have soffit, right? So if you have soffit where the air enters into the attic space along the eaves, you might go on the outside of your house and look up at underneath the roof and you'll see those little holes. That's called the soffit. Hot air goes into that and then it goes up to the top of your roof and releases out if your roof's properly ventilated.
Got it.
Right? So you have to close off that soffit because you can't have any moisture or humidity entering in your attic space because it'll get trapped by the spray foam.
Got it.
Right? So there's one thing that you got to make sure you do if you're going to be doing it retroactively after, your home's already been built.
Right.
Right? And then on top of it, you want to make sure, like a lot of homeowners don't realize that you need to be checking on your insulation. Like the R value goes down every year. It's not anything dramatic, but it will go down over the year, especially if you have the spray foam insulation. And you need to go in there and you might have to respray it. Right, so before you fork it, tens of thousands of dollars on spray foam, you might be able to just add more of the blow-in insulation, and that could help you a lot of problems there too.
Yeah.
When it comes to insulation, spray foam. We have homeowners, and I'll be honest, frankly, we have a lot more homeowners that are very disappointed with the performance of spray foam. And it's not that it doesn't insulate your home and your attic well, because it does. Right, nothing will outperform it. It is impressive. Right, I've gone up into a lot of attics with spray foam. And it might be cooler than the house.
Yeah.
Like it is absolutely a phenomenal system. I don't know, and from my experience, it would say that it's the best for Florida.
Okay.
We get a lot of humidity here. The last thing you want to get is moisture up there. But then also, I believe it's an open cell system or a closed cell system, which allows toxins or some of the gases in the spray foam to keep releasing. And I've had a lot of homeowners that have complained about having headaches. So, for example, we did a beautiful home over in Cheval. The homeowner got spray foam. I think it was like $40,000 worth of spray foam. It's a large house, right?
Yeah.
This isn't a normal home, and they had it sprayed into the attic, completely taken everywhere. And about 3 days into it, she couldn't be in the house anymore.
Wow.
Her headaches were too intense. She felt nauseous. She felt sick, and she was like,
Terrible.
"What happened?"
Wow.
It was a spray foam. It was releasing chemicals and some toxins, and for the folks that are sensitive, it really got to her. And she was living in an Airbnb when we met her. Right, so we had to go in. We had to remove her roof, remove all the decking because it's sprayed to the ceiling. It's not laid down. So we had to remove and replace all the decking, pretty much scrape all the trusses, all the supports, all the spray foam out of there, remove it, and then put it all back. Right, put the decking back on there. It's obviously to put new decking on and a new roof. That took about a week-long project to do. And then about 2 weeks after, she was able to come back in and move back into her house. And she hasn't had any headaches, and she's been so happy since.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Man. That's a weird situation because you could think about it. What's in that foam? I mean, what's the chemical composition of that? What, like you mentioned, the off-putting. Like those, most of those naturals, they naturally off-put. That was the big deal with the, Chinese drywall, right?
Drywall.
They came from China. That's why we call it Chinese drywall. Similar to the China virus. That's why we call it the China virus. It came from China. So, anyways, to make a little joke there, but when you think about it, though, right? I mean, the gypsum board, a lot of these different pieces that we utilize, materials that we utilize in home building and home construction, they off-put gas.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. And I think in reality, like if your home's already built and it's not designed for spray foam, I wouldn't encourage anyone to do it. I would encourage you to look at maybe blowing more insulation in because it will drop over time. And then also looking at your windows, your AC to really see how efficient you can make your home.
Yeah.
Right. Just going after it, going with spray foam, to me, in my experience, it's just a little extreme.
May not be a good idea.
Yeah, just a little extreme.
Yeah.
I would definitely encourage homeowners not to do
that. I hear you. Yeah, and it just kind of made me think too about Luke McCarr with our solar company, Aspire Solar. He just had a young baby, so shout out to him and his company. They do a great job, and because you think about solar, and then the solar technologies come a long way, and then you look at offsetting some of the cost of the power grid and the electric grid, and then now you can funnel some of that energy into batteries. So I like that idea. Sometimes maybe over a generator because the generator needs constant upkeep, and you got to consistently have those things checked up every whatever it is 8 months to
the joys of homeownership, right
yeah.
there.
Yeah, there you go. This is the time of year to think about it, though, because last thing you want is
100%.
that Florida August heat.
Yep.
After a couple stormy days.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then,
They're coming.
Yeah.
We've been in a drought right now, but don't think for a second it's not going to start raining. I mean, I was watching the news this morning, and look, it had those afternoon showers in every one of the 7-day forecast.
Coming back.
Yeah, so it's here.
Yeah,
so
man.
Get ready.
Logan Briggs in studio with me, Gulf Shield Roofing, longtime friend of the show. I'm your host, Brandon Rimes, and we talk a lot about real estate here on the show as well. And got some interesting numbers here when you think about where we're at. Tampa Bay home prices fell about 6% in 2025 and are expected to continue to decline. Now, that's depending on who you ask, right? So you've got forecasts for 26. Zillow predicting a modest 1.3% rebound, while Realtor.com expects prices to fall another 3.6%. So, where will they go? It depends. It depends on your neighborhood. It depends on, if you're talking about condos versus townhomes and versus single-family homes. This was an interesting article, too, I read over the weekend that was pretty cool. It was basically less than 11% of new construction in urban areas, this report finds. Ultimately, when they're building new construction, it's not in the big city metros. It's outside. It's in the suburbs. It's out in the Wesley Chapels or the the Ruskins and things like that. But it's kind of interesting here. Nationwide, the median list price for new urban homes is $738,662, compared with $414,000 for existing homes. For all new construction in both urban and suburban, the median list price held at $449,000. Now that's nationwide numbers, but when you look at that as well, and then you look at there was a May 7th new construction insight report, Realtor.com, indicating that 10.9% of new residential construction listings are located in urban areas, and that potential buyers may pay 78.4% more for these properties than in existing homes. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting to see, where the market goes. Yeah. But it's all about, so local, right? It depends on what's close by, the amenities, the zoning. Used to be south of Del Mabry, south of Kennedy, north of Kennedy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Big line there, kind of a demarcation. And,
absolutely. Yeah, it's funny. So our office is located in Lutz, and I'll go south of Kennedy. And I'll be like, I'm in Lutz. And they're like, is that in Pinellas County? Where's that? I'm like, you guys are just in South Tampa. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, Lutz is a really large area. It's a little bit north of Kennedy.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting. All right, so here's one that hit the news wire lately. Gary Vaynerchuk coming out, the social media influencer.
Oh yeah.
So
Gary.
The rise of analog is one of the most fascinating businesses and trends in the business world. And if you think about it, 14-year-olds are buying more non-smart phones.
Yeah.
So I think it's the parents pushing that too,
Yeah.
and then. Dave was mentioned earlier, sometimes police, fire, some of these guys are like, I just want a phone I can open up and hit the numbers and not have to lock screen it. And then there's also the backside of that when you get to the technology sharing. They got all your history and all that.
Yeah.
So people don't want that going back to
Think
these big
about the
companies.
distractions from all the apps. It's like I'm scrolling 4 or 5 pages to find the app that I can't even find. Then I have to search the app. It's like, what am I doing? It's just like, and then I'm spending so much time. They call it dead scrolling now. Where it's like a zombie.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. I totally support non-phones all the way. I have an 11-year-old about to be 12 who's really kind of like starting to get a little curious about phones, and she wants a smartphone. I'm like, absolutely not. Like you'll get a Nokia like Dad had.
Yeah, there you go.
You can add minutes, on the minute card, but. Play Snake as your game. You don't need access to all the internet. Yeah, right?
Yeah, get a Game Boy, get the Tetris going or whatever. You play those games.
I'm all for the non-smart. Give me a dumb phone.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like that. And some people, I remember talking to a pretty well-off friend of mine, and he said something to the effect that, hey, true success for me is when I get to eliminate my cell phones and just go back to an old school answer machine at home, walk in the door, see if I want to check my messages or not, right?
I love it. I mean, the other thing is, too, like the battery lasted so much longer on like the first generation phones. Yeah. It lasted forever, and then you could beat them up. You could run over the car,
Yeah.
They were awesome.
The old Blackberries too, man. Those were pretty. You could rip out a bunch of messages quick on those things.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah. What kind of technologies are you seeing in your industry? What's kind of, is there any emerging trends or anything happening?
We see a lot of like the instant estimate, right? So like we even have that tool on our website. We can do instant estimates. So you can just go in there, put your address, and then boom, within a couple seconds, we take some satellite imagery, and then we forward that into an estimate, right? Shingle, tile, or metal. So our clients love that because they can just get a general ballpark idea of how much a roof might cost without having to be annoyed by a sales rep, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not that pushy company that's going to do a 3-hour-long presentation about shingles in your living room.
Oh, yeah.
And,
It's so
stay
crazy.
for dinner.
Yeah.
That's not how we roll. But, there's a lot of roofers out there that do that. So a lot of homeowners, you can tell, kind of get a little anxiety of having somebody to come out to their house. That's why they really, really enjoyed the pre-estimate tool.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. All right, Publix reverses open carry decision. We'll talk about that here coming up next on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Logan Briggs in studio with us, Gulf Shield Roofing. More with Logan on the flip side here. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rimes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Tired of long lines at the airport? Check out Tampa Bay's premier private jet source. I'm Brandon Rimes for Will Smith Aviation. Aircraft management, acquisition, and sales, luxury jet escapes, and packages. Check them out online. WillSmithAviation.com. That's WillSmithAviation.com. Or call the show. I'll put you right in touch directly with Captain Will Smith. AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com for all of your non-woke American-made products. American values, Christian, conservative American values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, online at David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for Jason Coble, owner of Coble Law. Coble Law has been handling injury cases in Tampa for the past 14 years and has a specialized approach focused on limiting client cost and maximizing client profit. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Jason Coble, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, personal injury law, and work comp law. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for our friends at TargetSurveying.net. For all of your surveying needs, land surveying firm providing services for real estate since 1992, and they are statewide. Check them out online, TargetSurveying.net. That's TargetSurveying.net. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing? We would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show. Logan Briggs here with us. GulfShieldRoofing.com. Check them out online. Longtime friend of the show. We always talk about supporting our local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show. All of our expert contributors, white-collar, blue-collar companies, lots of great businesses here in Tampa Bay, helping you win in any marketplace. And a couple of listings here. We like to feature our real estate properties on air. Got a brand new listing here, 6085 Bahia Del Mar. This one's number 106. Got a 2.2, 1145 square feet. Just hit the market, brand new listing. Beautiful drone shot there from Fabre Frameworks. You're looking at the pool clubhouse there, overlooking the waterway and the beautiful bridge there in St. Pete. That's a St. Petersburg beauty here. 2.2, 1145 square feet, quarter-acre lot. Island living, highly sought-after waterfront and golf community of Isla del Sol. Ground floor corner condo, just minutes from the sugar sand beaches of St. Pete and Paso Grill. Great opportunity. 6085 Bahia Del Mar Boulevard South, number 106. Beautiful listing right there in St. Petersburg. Just hit the market. Real estate property listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We got a property at 1130 Sweeney Drive in Ruskin. another listing here. We've got about 50 current listings, by the way. If you're buying, selling, investing, refinancing, we would love to talk to you. We got 50 current listings. This is a 3-2, 1471 square feet, quarter-acre lot on Sweeney Drive in Ruskin, right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You got Hillsborough County. You got newer roof, HVAC, siding, gutters, extensive backyard, expansive backyard, that is. And you have a beautiful waterfront gym, canal access, Little Manatee River, Tampa Bay. 1130 Sweeney Drive, Ruskin, another waterfront property from the Platinum MVP team. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. See all of our radio and TV show experts at consumerqb.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Logan Briggs. So interesting, right? I mean, I don't see why people really need to open carry in Publix, but this was an interesting story I pulled. Just it was out of North Fort Myers. It says they reversed the decision. So when it first became state law, going back to the constitutional carry, Publix was one of the first companies to allow openly carry firearms inside the store. Now they're saying, you really don't need to carry it outside of your clothing. Just cover it like pretty much everybody else does that's going to carry, right? I mean, come on.
I guess it depends on which Publix you go to, right?
Maybe.
Like there could be those that are pretty dangerous. I don't know.
Yeah. You'd have to see. Either way, carry it under your shirt. I think if you have it outside the shirt, you've got your you're a target. You can potentially this guy they have somebody pick a fight with you just so they could sue you and then say you brandished your weapon, like all these different things. We've had Thomas King, Florida Firearms, on the show, and I think we've even asked some of the law enforcement officers. Yeah, I think we asked the sheriff last time he was on the show, Mr. Galtieri, and but you don't need to be carrying it outside your clothing. Although there's the absolutists that say, hey, it's my right. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you're right, though. I mean, you don't want that kind of attention.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you said, like someone might come and try to pick a fight with you, then you got to use it. It's
Yeah.
Versus just having it covered, would they ever even say anything to you?
Exactly. Yeah. Would have
Ask
never
yourself that
known.
question.
Yep, exactly. All right, so back to roofing. We got Gulf Shield Roofing. You've been in the roofing industry how long now?
Yes, sir. Coming up on my 8th year.
8th year of roofing?
Ninth, maybe 9th. Yeah, 9th
Well,
year. Yeah.
okay. Well, hey, I know how that goes
strictly
sometimes.
roofing. I've been dealing with the construction since about 2012. So
that's good, man.
Been doing a lot of home flipping and real estate investing like that all over the country, but kind
Nice.
of just focused on roofing in 2019 and then Gulf Shield Roofing in 2023.
Good. I love it. What are some of your best tips, relating to, real estate, the roofing industry,
Yeah, I mean,
contractors?
Mostly for homeowners right now, especially in the Florida market, is, just for example, I was coming from Hudson. They had a nice little storm event, and, one of our home inspectors gave us a referral and said, hey, man, go help her out. And turns out she's getting knocked on her door like 4 or 5 times a day.
Oh, man.
And she just didn't feel comfortable. Those guys were very pushy. They wouldn't produce certificate of insurance, and they wouldn't even show a roofing license.
Right.
And that typically is a red flag that you're dealing with a storm or someone from out of state.
Yep.
And it's very important that you deal with local contractors that understand local building codes and requirements, but make sure it's permanent, right? So make sure your roof is permanent because that's going to affect you with insurance or selling your home in the future.
Yeah.
So it's important that you follow with a contractor, a roofing contractor that's going to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell homeowners, like, if they're not producing a certificate of insurance on the spot or giving you a roofing license, a copy of it. They should give you a copy of it.
Yeah, they should have it
Don't
readily.
let them on your property. Do not let them on your roof.
Yeah, exactly. They fall down or whatever.
Yeah, then you're liable for that.
Yeah. So
It's not worth the risk.
When you look at it too, the amount of real estate properties that have open permits, non-closed out permits, and it causes an issue, cloud on title, delays closing. It's unbelievable how many times you see that happen from contractors. Why can't they just close the permit out?
Man,
what's going on out there?
It's a lot of contractors just unorganized, unprofessional, and their signs will be there when you're dealing with them, right?
Yeah.
They're not in any kind of branded materials like a shirt or a hat.
Yeah.
Their truck's not branded. They have they're writing their estimates down on a napkin, or they're verbally telling you how much it's going to cost. Those are contractors that you just don't want to deal with. It's going to be more of a headache. I don't care how much money they're saving you. In the end, it's going to cost you twice as much with stress, financially, and then also your roof's not going to get done right.
Yeah.
So why deal with them, right?
Oh, you're going to have double the headaches and so much more cost. So work with Logan Briggs, GulfShieldRoofing.com, GulfShieldRoofing.com. Check him out on Instagram as well. And Logan, always a pleasure, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks so
for
much,
coming in.
Brandon.
Hey, we had another great show. We had Mark Haye on the front end talking about capital tax and wealth, some other strategies there as well. And Logan Briggs, of course. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And thank you so much for supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show, all of our expert contributors at consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.